Welcome everyone to today's live stream. My name is Andy Choiński and I am based in tri-state area, which if somebody is outside of US, that's New York, New Jersey and Connecticut. But actually today I'm streaming live from New Jersey. But in few seconds, we'll be connecting with Europe, specifically with Hungary, a country led by Viktor Orban, whom globalists don't like. But we're going to talk about Orban later with our guest. He thinks differently, and we will share with you really fantastic information about him. But before we start, I have to give you a quick reminder. We are on a censorship platform, YouTube. Remember, from 2020 to 2022, that was very, there were like really immense time, global upheaval marked by strict mandates, restrictions. They took away our freedom. And of course, we had widespread controversy over politics that affected millions of people around the world, including soldiers. Soldiers were forced to take, now you know what, this thing. They were forced to make difficult choices about their careers. But because we're on YouTube, which is heavily censored, we have to use like a code language. Like, for example, we cannot use straight word, the most dangerous disease in the world. We will call it CV-19. We cannot use the word for this. We're going to use like rag over the face and, others. Because if we don't do that, we can, this channel can be closed even, or content will be removed. So we have to pretend that we're good guys, but of course we are fighting against globalism on every corner. So pandemic was very strong, and 2 years was terrible for everybody. And so we cannot give YouTube satisfaction to hunt us down. But today we have a unique opportunity to talk about situation that affected many people around the world, including soldiers. Our guest today is Zoltán Pálóczi, a former captain in Hungarian army who is fighting for basically rehabilitation and compensation for himself and other soldiers who were discouraged from the military due to refusing that experimental CV-19 jab. So not to prolong, how are you, Zoltán?
Greetings. I'm fine.
Thank you for joining us and sharing your story. I spoke with you earlier before that program, and your story is very, very interesting. So maybe let's start at the beginning. Could you tell us about yourself and circumstances that led you to decide to refuse that jab? How did the Hungarian system introduce those restrictions, and how did it affected you and other soldiers? What was like to serve at that time in Hungarian army under the government emergency measures? You had the same thing like in other countries, those government emergency measures, which were supposed to be temporary, but they were so long.
So I spent 17 years in the Hungarian army. My last rank was captain. I was an armored reconnaissance unit commander, a company commander. And when this whole thing started, there was already a bad thing happened in the past in the army, and that was the main reason why I was suspicious about this new jab. And by the time it became mandatory, I didn't want to commit the same mistakes like I did, not just me, but my other fellow soldiers in the past.
Okay. So basically, they were forcing you to do that experimental medicine, but Hungary was one of the first EU countries to approve vaccines like you see, I forgot VACC. Let's say it that way. We approve VACC not only from Pfizer or Moderna, but Sputnik 5 and Sinopharm. They were bypassing also EMA authorization, like in many other countries. Did that affect the level of trust among soldiers regarding that job, that VACC?
Not that much. You see, in Hungary there was a wide variety of selection of jabs, and I think people were more suspicious in Hungary because of the Western jabs. So a lot of people, especially soldiers, did Sputnik because they thought it's more regular, it's old-fashioned and it's not so experimental.
It was not based on mRNA technology. That's what you're saying, huh?
Yeah, that was the idea, but I don't want to say specific things because I'm not into medical assets.
Okay, all right.
Sinopharm was maybe they considered that Sinopharm, the Chinese, is the most old school version of anti-CV19. So it's analog, and some people did that. By the way, if I remember correctly, Viktor Orban did Sinopharm as well.
I see the people from around the world, and mostly from Poland. We're saying hello, but also we have some viewers from Germany. Hello from Germany, Ranger. So we want this information to go across the globe, because that's not only in Hungary. Many other countries went through that same situation. And tell me maybe when you and other soldiers refused to comply, what happened next? How did the your Hungarian military responded?
Step by step, they became more strict, and basically they rejected every kind of begging, asking. For example, religious, religious background. They didn't care.
So they didn't basically accept any religious exemptions. That's what you're saying.
Yes, but it's not that common like in the USA. Okay, medical issues. So, for example, there were people who got already some kind of handicaps, health problems, and they didn't care as well. I know only one in the whole Hungarian army, one person who was I don't know, maybe she was so bad. She was in so bad physical condition that even the army told that, okay, for you it's not mandatory, but for the rest, nothing.
Yeah, that was really, really hard time. But at that time, you and others, did you decide to give up your rights, or you definitely not? But did you start? When did you start to fight for your rights? Could you tell us about the legal actions you took in this case, and what was the results, if any?
First, I have to start when I started to complaining about the jab. it was still in the army. So at that time, no legal actions made. So you see, in the U.S. Army, they gave it as an order, but in the Hungarian army, and that's a very important thing, soundly, verbally, they told us that's an order to jab ourselves. But on paper, officially, it was not an order. It was some kind of a briefing. It's a little bit complicated to explain, especially for civilians, that, first of all, there was a decree made by Viktor Orban himself that all state personnel has to be vaccinated, or if they don't want to vaccinate themselves, they must be sent to a 1-year-long unpaid vacation. And after the prime minister's decree, there come minister level, let's just say, it's not order, I don't remember the quite word. But,
maybe that was mandate, like here we had a Biden issue mandate in like 2001.
I can tell you just a couple of seconds. So it's
decree mandate are probably the same thing.
Yeah, so it's on ministry, and it's on ministry level, and then it come down to the army level, and finally on the level of execution, they have to give orders on the level of executions, on the level of units. So that's what chain of command exists for. And when it reached the execution level, it was not an order. Formally, legally, it was not an order. And when I saw this, I told to my commander that, okay, I'm not going to jab myself. And everybody was surprised. I was quite, hard-minded soldier, so nobody expected this from me. And they asked me, what's the problem? They asked me to write a report. And I wrote down, I will jab myself if you give it as an order. Because in the past, in the Hungarian army, the same thing happened year by year about vaccination. But verbally they communicated it's an order, but officially it wasn't. And because we were aware of that time, I told to my commander, okay, I will vaccinate myself, but first give it as an order, because a commander takes full responsibility for all his men. So even if this jab would be the best on planet Earth, and amongst 1 million guy, 2 or 3 would get problems, even those guys, we cannot let them behind. We cannot leave them behind on the road. You see what I'm talking about? So it's about responsibility. So if you are pushing people to jab yourself, take responsibility. That's very easy. And I think,
Zoltán, you know why? Because that I'm not gonna use that curse word, but that was unconstitutional in most countries. They knew it, but they did anyway because they were forcing that. That was like a psychosocial program introduced all over the world by globalists, just to make sure that everybody will get that injection. So they knew it on a higher level. It's unconstitutional, and everybody who are listening to us, they probably know that already. We have smart people listening to us, so we don't have to explain to them. But if somebody is still doubt about that, that was destroyed already. And here, basically, when Trump took office, we know that those mandates were unconstitutional, and Trump actually reversed them. But we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, so that was the very first time when I rejected the jab. And after that, that time I was in Iraq. I was in deployment. And we had a deadline. We had to jab ourselves not later than the 15th of December 2021. And because I didn't, they brought me back to Hungary, and I was sent to a 1-year-long vacation without payment from the 1st of January 2022, and it lasted until the 16th of December same year.
Wow, you didn't tell me that you were in Iraq. What you were doing over there? Just assignment like NATO assignment, because Hungary is of course part of NATO, or because at that time Iraq was, I think US was withdrawing from Iraq.
That time a lot of nations was over there, and yeah, it was half NATO, half Hungary's own interest.
Oh, okay. Well, so I didn't know that actually, that Hungary was even there. So,
actually, that's a funny story, but it would be a completely different topic. I don't want to change the subject.
Okay. So basically, when you said no, they put you on unpaid vacations, and that was like a punishment. Let's say, did you talk about that with somebody, with the media, or of course probably with friends? No,
because that time we were still soldiers. Okay, so try to imagine yourself as you're a soldier, but you're in a specific position. You get no position. Okay, but you're still inside the armed forces, the army, and because of that, if we would open our mouth, they would punish us as soldiers. So of course that was only my case, but we are talking about approximately 1,200 Hungarian soldiers. Actually, what we heard, the most precise information what we could get, approximately 1,200 Hungarian soldiers was let's say punished because of unvaccination, but 60-something hundred guys got discharged instantly because they wanted to quit the army already, even before COVID happened. But because in Hungary there's a state of emergency, that time it was a state of emergency, and currently it's a state of emergency as well. Now it's because of the Russian-Ukrainian war, not because of the pandemic. But so they let those guys out from the system, but those guys, approximately 600 something, guys, us, we didn't want to quit. We didn't want to leave the army. So we said, okay, we are going to, we are going to wait what's going to happen, because on paper, it was not black and white that after 1 year you have to dismiss, you have to get out from the army. It was the personal choice. It was the personal decision of the highest ranking, guy in the Hungarian army, the chief of staff.
You break up a little bit. You were saying that was personal decision. That's correct.
Yeah, that was the personal decision of the Hungarian chief of staff. That time chief of staff. Now the guys, basically the guy was kicked out from the army just 1 month later, our department.
Actually, I see the very interesting question from Christopher Anthony on YouTube chat, and it says, should this coercion be appropriate according to the Hungarian constitution? Do you know if that was against the particularly Hungarian constitution?
Honestly, I tell you, I don't know, and not because I would be a retard or something, but Hungarian constitution was changed 15 times in the past 15 years. And because, how can I say, Hungary is very centralized, and even lawyers are not daily updated because of the so many changes happening in the legal system. I don't know, maybe.
Probably, but listen, we are blessed in US because to change our constitution, almost impossible.
I wanted to tell you that it's completely different. So don't try to imagine the level and solid. It's not solid like the U.S. Constitution. So it's like a paper, and they can change day by day.
Actually, that's good that I'm talking with you, because I really didn't know many facts about Hungary. Hungary, from U.S. perspective, looks like a small country, but really robust because of Orban. And it's very maybe controversial for globalists, because Orban is doing many things which European tyrants are not doing. But perfect. Maybe that's the good input for our viewers also to know more about Hungary. But when you refuse and you had other soldiers with you supporting you in that situation, or they just basically said, okay, you are stupid and go away, we don't want to talk to you?
99% of the Hungarian army got vaccinated, and sadly, the communication channels were cut off, and so we become persona non grata. It was not a good point for an active member to speak with us. So that was the reason why we got so separated. And we started to make connections, make contacts with each other from the same category very slowly. Yeah. Oh, you did that? Well, yes. Oh, you didn't take the jab? No, I didn't. Just like you. Okay. And from this very humble beginning, we started to gathering. And I remember there was a Facebook group, and it was the gathering place of unvaccinated, not just soldiers, but policemen, firefighters, etc. And of course, everybody complained. Everybody told his or her own story. But what I could notice when I joined this in November 2022, that it was all about the complainants, but no news from abroad, from the US or Western Europe, arrived. Nobody wrote serious things which would aid our cause. And soon we discovered that probably that Facebook group was created intentionally by some kind of state organization to monitor us. And that was the reason I started to send just links. So I didn't write nothing. I just copy paste links, and from mainstream, not just from alternative US media, but mainstream as well. And the operators didn't want those links appear in front of the other guy's eyes. So that was the reason I thought, okay, this is fake, and I will create a new group. Everybody who wants to do something, not just talking and complaining, join me. And we started to collect these people, and approximately 200 Hungarian ex-soldiers, unvaccinated ex-soldiers, are in the group right now.
Okay, well, but let's go beyond. Let's go away from army. How you can describe what was happening in general population in Hungary at that time? Did they were fighting against those mandates or decrees, like not only in army, but let's say in hospitals and schools and because in US we're fighting. Depends on the state where you're living. Florida, Texas, North Dakota didn't have any mandate. So basically, most of the people just agree with the nonsensical mandates who were basically imposed on them.
Yes, 99%. I don't remember any kind of demonstration or something like this. Nothing. Everybody followed orders. In this way, Hungarians, Prime Minister Viktor Orban used to say that Hungarians are very disciplined, but that's not black and white. So I think more than half of the Hungarians were already suspicious. We are an ex-Eastern Bloc country, where is absolutely natural to be suspicious, not just because of your enemies, but because of your own government.
That's correct. I'm originally I was born in Poland, so I remember communism, and you were born after, I think, communism.
I was born in 1983. I'm 41 years old.
Oh, so your parents still can talk about. so
I remember something.
So we are, natural-born fighters against the government propaganda, government pressure. So I'm actually, surprised that the Hungarian people didn't fight so hard.
Because Hungarians are not like Polish. Okay, probably you would fight, but Hungarians after 1956 got used to these sneaky side solutions. Okay, I tell you just one thing. I cannot prove it, but officially in Hungary, 9.4 million people lives, and approximately 6.8 was jabbed, which means more than 2/3 of the country was vaccinated. But I wouldn't be so surprised if, because of some research, they would say at least 1 million Hungarians did it only on paper.
Listen,
you see, sneaky solution.
Polish-Hungarian friendship is so old. We're like brothers, really. Polish people and Hungarian people are brothers. Like we're fighting against what's the Ottoman Empire?
Yes, Ottoman Turkish Empire.
Yeah. So we're actually friends right now. Polish conservatives are basically liking what's going on in Hungary, but we're going out of subjects. I would like to talk to you about many other subjects regarding Hungary, but let's stay focused on that on those jobs and what was happening. So let's say they let you go. They didn't pay you for 1 year. That's correct?
Yes.
And
yes.
Did Hungarian government somehow reacted? Did they acknowledge your situation in any way?
No.
No, nothing. They didn't help you at all. So let's say you had to leave. You had to buy food. You have to freaking pay for rent, or your living expenses are piling if you're not working. So what happened? They left you alone?
Personally, I was very lucky because you see, I just got back from Iraq, so I got money. I got money that even without work, I could last for a year. Okay, it was not that easy, but I could manage it. But I'm just one man. But there were people with families, kids, children. They couldn't do that. And again, it was, I think, in the background, the intent was clear, but the execution was chaotic. So in the very first month, or the very first 2 months, they rejected every, every ask for secondary citizen job. So they didn't give the permission. There was one guy, one commander, who was such an idiot that he even wrote on the rejection paper, I'm not going to allow him to work in secondary citizen job because he's unvaccinated. So basically the guy did a proof against himself. But most of the time, they didn't write any kind of explanations. They just reject, and that's it. Then some people wanted to quit the army. They wanted to discharge. Some of them didn't even receive any kind of answer, officially or unofficially. And after the Russian-Ukrainian conflict escalated to a war, suddenly, this whole CV-19 thing disappeared. It was suddenly not so important. And next month, in March, they erased almost everywhere any kind of, obligations, restrictions, except for the soldiers and the medical personnel. Summer, medical personnel was freed from this mandatoriness as well, except the soldiers. For us, it went through the whole year. And, state of emergency because of pandemic, the legal background, that decree which gave birth this whole situation. So it was. I hope I use the right word. It was expanded. So no, not anymore. On the 18th, on the 18th of December 2022, we got kicked out from the army one day before the deadline. Because if they would wait for one more day, because the legal background is disappearing, they couldn't get us out from the army.
They couldn't expel you.
Yeah. Funny thing, we got our discharging orders officially in paper by letters 1 month later. So we got informed that we are no soldiers anymore 1 month after we got kicked out from the army.
Can you sue them somehow? Because that's like they left you. You see, the soldiers, in my point of view, are one of the bravest people because they are sacrificing their lives for the nation in need time. If time comes, you guys gonna be first online, and this is like really ignoring human being and treating it as like a nothing, basically. So can you tell me if somebody was talking about that in media or
no, first.
Did you have like a media suppression? Hungarian mainstream was not talking about, not covering that story at all.
Hungarian mainstream.
Let me finish, because in US, when it happened, when this freaking Biden regime did it, we basically were upset. Fox News, Newsmax, all the conservative media were talking about that nonstop. That soldiers, I think like almost 8,000 soldiers were discharged because of that, and it was huge news. Nothing in Hungarian media, not even a word.
Believe it or not, but Hungarian mainstream media started to talk about the topic yesterday. 90% of the Hungarian population are still in the same mindset like 2021. They hear nothing about what changed, what happened in the Western world in the past 3 years. So if I would start to talk to an ordinary Hungarian that, hey, CIA just reported that it was not a disease but probably a bioweapon, they would say that what kind of conspiracy making, conspiracy theory making website did you read? And I would say this is official CIA report, and it's in the US mainstream media. They would say no, it's not existing, because sadly, I think more than 60% of the Hungarians are not able to speak on any kind of foreign language. And what's more important, that I think more than 90% of the population is not reading online media platforms. yes, I hope I say the right word. Yeah, media platforms. So the vast majority is watching TV, but TV, mainstream TV, is government controlled. It's very easy.
It's a leftist propaganda, like everywhere here too. But you know, in the U.S., nobody watches NBC News, ABC, those CBS. The only maybe old people who don't know how to access social media, or they don't have social media, so they watch those old platforms, old propaganda mainstream platforms. But most of the people don't even watch it. Listen, like Joe Rogan has more views per his show than all CNNs, MSNBC, and other those shitty platforms combined. So you see, your perspective on Hungary is completely different. I thought about Hungary differently. I thought it's a free country, very progressive, very strict towards leftists and all the liberals propaganda, but it's not. It looks like it's not.
Sadly, things are not so easy that they would be black and white. There are pros and contras. For example, Orban did one good thing, which is accepted as a good thing by the vast majority of the Hungarian citizens, and that when mass migration happened, he didn't let the migrants into the country, and that's good. We have a lot of problems. We don't need extra ones. And that was a good decision. But on the other half, several very, very, very bad decisions. Even one would be just enough for a president in the USA to lose the elections. But this whole CV-19 topic is a very sensitive thing even to the politicians in Hungary. Because with the exception of only one Hungarian political party, nobody was against not just the mandates, but the vaccinations itself. And this party, by the way, I hope I don't say stupid things, but this party, mostly thanks to this topic, that he could get into the Hungarian parliament, because they were the only ones who said that no mandates, no vaccinations, etc. And a lot of people voted on them. They are like something like EFD, alternative.
Oh, the new German party.
Yeah, but it's the Hungarian version. But it's a very small. It's a very small party. So I think they are between 6 to 10%.
6 to 10% in Hungary. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like MAGA party here, but we are much bigger. So.
Yeah. So, and I would answer your question that what steps did we do? So after we got kicked out from the army, I made connection. So I got into contact with this political party for media support, and until this day, they are supporting us with media, with political deeds. And in the very same time, I went to the Helsinki attorney. I hope I say the correct term, attorney, yes. And we told what's our problem. And we wanted to bring the whole case in front of Strasbourg, the Strasbourg court. And we knew that it's not going to be that easy. And we started to think that attacking the vaccine itself is it's not going to work, because the resistance was so hard that especially that time, 22, that we figured out that, okay, we are not going to make a full-scale assault. In the army, we are using probing attacks, so reconnaissance by fire. So we will give a bait, and we will see what's the response. And we attacked not with the vaccination, but with the denying of secondary citizen jobs, job opportunities. You see, even if it...
What do you mean? Like you were out of the army and
Yeah.
they were doing what? The second job? Can you explain that?
So we asked the Helsinki attorney, please represent us in front of the
You are talking about the Helsinki Committee, which is organization which monitors human rights.
Yes, they help a lot of people. They help, in every kind of aspects, like, they are helping for minorities, etc. And we said that, okay, now you can help us.
And they really help you, or just was like they were.
I have to
posers?
tell you that yes, they did. Yes, because they told me that, listen, Zoltán, it's because only the denying of the secondary citizen jobs, and the denying of discharging, and even though it happened with us because of denying, refusing the vaccine, if the original subject would be different, the procedure itself is full illegal.
Okay.
And these guys at the Helsinki committee, they told us that we are not on the same side about vaccination, but what they did to you, it's unexplainable. So we will help you. And we did the necessary steps, but within months, the court in Strasbourg rejected the whole topic. So they didn't want to take the case.
Of course, bureaucrats, European bureaucrats, American bureaucrats, or wherever bureaucrats are lazy and they don't want to seek the truth and they don't want to help people. So we have to destroy them or remove them like we're doing right now in US. And listen, the bureaucrats listening in Hungary right now, we are coming for you. The Trump wave will reach Hungary, Poland, Germany sooner or later.
I hope it will be a tornado. So I have to say that it was a little bit interesting, what happened at the Strasbourg court, because 90% of us got rejected because of obvious reasons. Basically, we didn't we didn't do every legal step in Hungary, because in order to get your cause in front of the Strasbourg court, you have to do everything. You have to do every level in the legal system of your country. And after the highest, national legal level rejects you, then you can go to Strasbourg. And we didn't do that, but some of us did. And those guys who did everything in Hungary and they went to the Strasbourg court, they were rejected as well, but with no explanation.
So any other options you aim right now?
After that, we start. Yes, almost every lawyer who we met didn't want to take the case. Just no.
Mm-hmm. So you have no road ahead of you. You don't have any ideas how to proceed.
We did, because we start. I'm not going to discuss every okay. Background work, but with a lot of work, we were able to enforce a letter from the Minister of Defense in Hungary, and in that letter, the guy actually accepted and admitted that it was not an order.
Oh, so they're wishy-washy, like in every country. They trying to basically right now turn back the time and say, oh, like nothing really happened. You guys decided to do that, and now, but people have short memory. That's why. But we have to remind everybody that something like that happened and people were really suffering. Millions of people died and they were sick for a long time. People committed suicide, get into alcoholism and other addictions. So it's not so simple. We cannot forget and hunt those people still. They have to be responsible for what they did. So I hope you're going to be successful. But maybe on another subject, I saw you have a YouTube channel, probably Facebook. Did they censorship on the platforms, on social media? No?
No,
Nothing?
that's very important that even though we went to this political party, and because of them, we got into the alternative media, not into the mainstream, but into the alternative media. And a lot of Hungarians saw these happenings, and but nothing changed. And after we managed to get this answer from the Minister of Defense, I wanted to get into the Ministry of Defense, and I wanted to talk to the Chief of Staff. And surprisingly, he accepted my call, and I had the opportunity to meet and speak with the guy. Mm-hmm. Now he's the new Chief of Defense, not the same guy who got rid of us. And basically, what they said was that, sorry, but we are not able to rehabilitate you because nothing illegal happened with you. And I said, do you see this letter? The minister wrote that it was not an order. Yeah, of course, it was not an order. Why? Do you remember anybody who would say this would be an order? And everybody did it. Everybody did it.
I'm telling you, I'm really angry. I will smash those freaking idiots, those bureaucrats in my one hand if I could. But if we're at that topic, talking about mandates, and maybe at this point it's good to talk about President Trump, because in the U.S. we had a completely different situation. The Biden administration and former nasty idiot Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin discharged, same thing like they did to you, over 8,000 troops from 21 to 23, due to, of course, the CV-19 VAX status, and they just discovered that suddenly recruitment was shortfall. Like there had no recruits coming. People didn't want to go there and get jobs. So, but in 2023, I believe so, that mandate was repealed, and only 40 soldiers returned to duty. 2025 comes, January 20th, Trump is inaugurated, in January 27th. So that's 1 week after inauguration, President Donald Trump signed executive order reinstating all discharge service members who basically requested it. And he restored their ranks, back pay. Imagine this, back pay, and all the benefits. President Trump basically I can show you that
we
order.
follow day by day what's happening in the US.
Yeah. So that's the from the White House exact description of that January 27 executive order. So basically, President Trump said that was injustice, and argued that basically healthy service members were wrongfully dismissed, despite like all the scientific evidence that there was bullshit. And of course, people have natural immunity, and they didn't even care because you were so young, you were healthy, you didn't have to. Your immune system, they were doing that to children which they didn't have to. So you were a strong, healthy soldier, and they basically wanted to weaken you. And so President Trump did, in my point of view, really nice job reversing that bullshit from Biden regime. Question for you: do you think that how you can do it? Probably in other NATO alliance countries, similar thing happen. I don't know. Maybe France, Germany, Poland. Do they have to follow that example regarding soldiers and jobs for CV-19? What can be done? Let's say in your case in Hungary, that you can guys put pressure, maybe create some bigger organization that put pressure on those freaking bureaucrats to move their asses and help you. And basically, maybe there are some lawyers they can basically sue them and bring the justice on the surface.
There's no legal option in Hungary. We did it, we tried it, it's not working. And it's not about the bureaucrats. In Hungary, a bureaucrat is a state slave. He got orders, and he's not thinking. He will do what guys from higher echelon will tell him or her. Only one man is making decisions in this country. And if we are not getting rehabilitated or compensated, it's because of his will. That's so simple. And like I said, Hungary is not the USA. Although in the Western countries, a lot of things turned completely 180 degrees. Now it's not, these guys are not so sure about themselves. But just some weeks ago, or one and a half month ago, the Hungarian media, Prime Minister Orban, they made a video about how successful was the whole mandate and how jabs, they were very effective. And it was like a triumph, okay? Mm-hmm. They did everything the best. And it was a glorious deed to save the Hungarian nation from this disease and etc., etc. So these guys are not going to change their minds. And they don't care about what's happening in other countries. Yeah, the CIA told this. Yeah, the German secret agency did a new report, but we don't care. Because I had the opportunity, because of the political support, we wanted to make rehabilitation and compensation done by the state, legal. And of course, they rejected this as well. It happened last week, on the last week. So we are here in 2025, and still they don't get the clue. And if maybe they have the clue, they don't care. So like President Trump did a lot of things, and that's not a new thing, by the way. For 2 years, Trump already told what he's going to do with the unvaccinated and kicked out soldiers. He just kept his word. That's it. But there was a CPAC conference in the USA, and a lot of conservative party members from all around the world, they went to there and they discussed a lot of topics. And Hungarians were on this CPAC conference as well. And when they come back to Hungary, they did CPAC Hungary, and they copied everything except one thing: the vaccination and the problems. They don't speak not a single word. I tell you, yesterday was the first day when there was a discussion about that it was not good and it was full fake. Yesterday. And I think if President Trump would not be successful, and Democrats would be in the seat of the president,
Oh, listen, if Kamala Harris will be right now in the White House, we will be in a big black hole. You cannot even imagine that this freaking political prostitute will destroy not only United States but the whole world. But I want people who are listening to us to understand that you are example of the person who are harmed by the system in Hungary, but there are thousands and thousands, probably similar people suffering around the world, especially in Europe. And we want you guys to spread that video and basically show those bureaucrats this executive order that can be done. If it can be done in US, it can be done everywhere in the world. I watched our chat and there is an interesting entry. Marzena Tolarczyk. She said the European Union, will never do the same as US with their soldiers. We cannot come with the approach like that. Of course, if we put pressure, if you guys put pressure and talk about it and spread and make videos like that with other soldiers. I know that there are soldiers in Germany, in Poland who were harmed that way. You change your leaders and it can happen. You never say never. Never give up, like Trump always says. So never give up. But talking about changing the leaders, I want to talk with you about Orban, because I see Orban from different spotlight than you do, and you basically enlightened me a little bit yesterday and today, because people listen to media, and most of the conservative medias are presenting him as a somebody really taking care of their nation, of citizens, that he's a very conservative prime minister. And you tell me that during the pandemic, Hungary looked similar to the other countries, and yeah. Of course, government implemented strict lockdowns, draconian mandates, and the rugs on the mouth, and that affected Hungarian society big time. Tell us who really Viktor Orban is and what role he played during that time, and what role he plays right now.
So, first of all, Viktor Orban is a politician, and he's up for himself. So that's very easy. He did everything almost 100% the same what Western countries did during the pandemic. And tons of videos on YouTube or any kind of other platforms you can see that, for example, in the beginning of 2020, when the whole pandemic started, first he told that no, there's not going to be any kind of mandatory vaccinations in Hungary. Hungarians would not accept it because Hungarians are very proud, etc., etc. And step by step, it became more and more different. So you see, maybe you thought that people got short memory, and that's very true. The ordinary citizen, in my opinion, if something is not in front of him or her, and daily things to do, 2 weeks to 2 months, and he or she will forget everything. So in 2021, suddenly it became mandatory, and Viktor Orban started to tell in front of the cameras, into the radio, even the unvaccinated will realize that they will vaccinate themselves, or they will die. So 1 year or 1.5 years from no mandatory vaccination, jab or die. And suddenly, with Comrade Putin, small secret operation, suddenly it disappeared. And all those people who jabbed themselves, they got, extra options. So they could go to the restaurant, they could go abroad, whatever. And after the Russian-Ukrainian war broke out, they could throw out to the trash can their special passport because of vaccinations. Nobody cared after that. And about our prime minister, he tells what people wants to hear. But even himself, he did an infamous quote or motto. I don't remember the right word, but he had a famous saying or quote that, don't listen to what I'm talking about, see what I'm doing, okay? That was the same guy I'm talking about. So what he says is just one thing. See what he's doing. Most of the time, completely the opposite. So if he says that there's not going to be mandatory vaccinations, there will be. And he's always giving some time to the Westerners. Let others start the whole project. See what's happening. And after that, he will make a decision. And I think a lot of people, if you're talking about, national things, about conservative things, I have to say that he started his career as a liberal back in the end of the 80s.
Did he belong to a communist party, or his family was the communist? Do you know?
I don't know his family background, but if I remember correctly, his father was a big man in the communist era, and if I remember completely, maybe it's available on Wikipedia. But his father worked for the Communist Party propaganda section. I just want to.
So you see, from our U.S. perspective, he looks like a Hungarian Trump, but according to you, it's not. It's completely opposite. It's a wolf in a sheep skin.
Yeah, you see, his father, and it's on Wikipedia. In 1966, he joined the Hungarian Socialist Workers' Party, which is Communist Party.
Oh, nice.
The only party, and first. He was at KISS, that was a youth organization for communists, and later he did propagandist function. Wikipedia. After the system change, he became a guy, some kind of a businessman. He owns mines. Mm-hmm. And you see, his family is related to the previous regime. Sorry, not regime, but the previous system. And in the 80s, he got the opportunity to go abroad. I think, if I remember correctly, to the UK to study there. Do you know what kind of people got permission from the state to leave the iron fence or the iron curtain?
Yeah, of course.
And after that, in the 90s, he became more and more and more, moving to the right-wing direction. And I don't know if it's true or not, but do you remember the famous German Chancellor Helmut Kohl?
Yeah, of course.
If I remember correctly, there was a story or anecdote that Kohl told to the younger Orban that you should spread democracy more in Hungary because it's not that good, the situation. And Orban told, with that ideology, I'm not able to get votes in this country. And a lot of people throw, stones on Viktor Orban. I don't. He's just doing his job as an ordinary politician. But the problem, I think, mainly is with the Hungarians, because these things, what I'm talking about, these are not secrets. They accepted the fact. So they accepted the whole scenario. And how can I say this? A lot of people, after the system change, they didn't care about what happened in the previous system. A lot of people wanted, retribution. Am I saying the right word? Punishment for the communists.
Mm-hmm.
Never happened.
Of course, it didn't happen in Poland either.
Yeah, but everybody accepted.
Yeah.
So everybody moved on, just like with the COVID. CV-19. Like if it was, it would never happen. It's just a bad dream.
We have a question from the chat. Do you know about any connection to famous globalist, Hungarian famous globalist? Of course, we're talking about George Soros. If Orban has any connections to George Soros?
If I remember correctly, his study in the 80s, he was aided by Soros. So Soros supported Orban. Then things changed. 180 degrees.
Now Halina says, I can see Orban from entirely different perspective from now on. Thank you for the truth.
It's very hard, believe me. For a Hungarian, for me, it's especially hard.
Well, tell me what kind of good things he did for Hungary, if even he did anything good.
He didn't let the migrants in.
Oh, that's big. Plus.
That's a very strong point. You see, I think a lot of people tell us that the main reason why he is still in power it was because of that. Hungarians are, how can I say? I don't want to talk about stereotypes, but we can be very, friendly with outsiders. But at the very same time, people from different culture, from different religions, it's not the same. So Hungarians are keeping a distance between themselves and non-Christian Western Europeans. Everybody else who is not Western Christian European.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were talking about the organization which you created in Hungary,
yeah.
But do you know any other soldiers from other European countries who were also fighting for justice regarding that illegal coercion, or basically illegal extortion of that horrendous medical experiment? I know that there are organizations in Poland, Germany, and other countries. Do you know them? Are you
yes.
cooperating with them?
Yes. Not long ago, we made contact, and we are supporting each other with information. We are sharing advices, information. It's really in the beginning phase, the starting phase.
But if somebody wants to contact you or your organization, do you have any contact information, or not yet?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Like somebody wants to contact you or support you. Do you have any contact information?
Yes, we have a Facebook group, and it's called. I try to translate it. Wait a minute.
Maybe.
Or can I share it here?
Yeah. Send me a link. This way I can display it, and I can put that in the descriptions later. So.
Okay.
I can put that in the description.
Okay, so basically, it was only for soldiers for Hungarian soldiers who are in the same category like me, like us. We had to reject a lot of civilians who didn't even understand what's this group. It's some kind of anti-vaccination. I would like to join that group, and we said, sorry, we are not going to let you in because we are discussing legal stuff here. But right now, after we failed on each platform, politically, legally, if somebody wants something from us, he can make contact and we can make another channel. So, okay, I'm not going to complicate things more. This is the link.
Okay. Listen, maybe we're gonna come to the end of this interview, but I, as a soldier, someone with big military experience, because you're captain in Hungarian army, so that's
Yes.
like higher up.
I was.
Oh,
I was because the chief of staff. It's a really interesting question because the chief of staff last year told me on that meeting that we don't have any kind of rank, so we lost everything, which means I'm private. In case of war, if they would call us back because of war, we would go back as privates. And I said that, wow, that's a big surprise for me because on the discharging orders, everybody was named, his correct rank. But he said that because of the fifth law 2022, you just lost your rank. And I said, what? Did I lose it? Did it fall out of my pocket or what? But of course, nobody could tell me what really happened. So I don't know. I would be a captain anymore.
Yeah, but you were commander. Yeah, maybe tell us just for fun, just for recording that information, because someone like you with big military experience. What do you think are the key attributes for great commander? Like for young people who wants to join army or they want to be commanding officers.
As the American says, seek responsibility, take responsibility. So do you know how we used to call that guy who is not able or he don't want to take responsibility for his deeds? That's a coward. And cowardice is one of the biggest military crime. Some people get executed in World War I or World War II because of cowardice. So a coward couldn't be an officer, any kind of, not just an officer, and in any kind of commanding position. So seek responsibility, take responsibility. And about the attributes, I think the three most important thing is that the quick realization what's happening, the quick situational awareness, okay? And second, decision making. And third, how to give out an order, how to make the other guys do the job. So realizing what's happening as quick as possible and correctly, make a decision and act while you're taking responsibility. And one more thing, initiative. I hope I say it right. So if nothing happens and you lose contact with the superiors, you don't get any kind of orders, act independently, do something, do not wait for orders, because most of the time they are coming later, much lately, and that's it. I think these are the most important attributes of commanding officer or NCO.
We have to salute people like you, because you are brave young men who, like I said before, will sacrifice your life to defend your nation, your freedom of citizens of that nation. But Halina Troll wrote, I thought the rank could have been lost only because of the crime committed. You didn't commit any crime. So
yes, I would like to explain this. So that was one of the most painful things that the former chief of staff, who's actually is a civilian right now because he got kicked out from the army just 1 month later, are discharge. And this guy called us disobedient. Yes,
disobedient.
Yes. So that we rejected, we didn't follow an order. So, if you don't follow an order, you're a criminal. It's military crime. It's like it's not like betraying, but it's one of the most serious military crime what a soldier can do, denying an order. And I had the opportunity to speak with this guy, and I told to him, "You called us deniers, order deniers." Sorry, I don't know the exact English term. And he said, "Yeah, because you are, and all your men." And I said, the chief of staff admitted that it was not an order. The minister of defense admitted that it was not an order. Everybody admitted that it was not an order except you. And of course, the guy didn't want to change his mind. And I said that if I would be, if I really deny an order, I have to put against or in front of court-martial. And if they are not making a judgment upon me, they are fellow criminals as well. So because not just me, nobody in Hungary got into prison or executed because of denying an order. That means it was not an order. That's it.
Listen, Zoltán, that your speech was very interesting and inspiring many people, especially young people should listen to that, because that can they can meet those situations in the future. But to conclude, I would like to ask you maybe the final question. Do you have anything to share with us straight from your heart, like what you like to say to people around the world, like eye to eye, human to human, what really happened and what you want to do in the future?
Yes, especially for Americans or Western Europeans who has maybe still in doubts. Take us as an example, positive or negative, it's up to you. But you see, there are countries like in the USA where you can talk more freely. I don't say probably a lot of bad things are happening in the USA as well. There are no perfect countries. But in a society or in a system like in Hungary, you see what's happening. Our case is the example. And I think a lot of Westerners should admire more, not admire, but having a good opinion or better opinion on their own countries, although there's a lot of flaws, problems, because if you go more and more to the east, you are meeting with more autocrat states. And even though you have proofs, everybody admits that you got right, still nobody cares. So what are you going to do? Do you have any kind of force? Can you show up force? Because these people are counting only with force. If somebody is just blah, 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 okay, he's just a piece of flesh, he's just making noise, and that's it. So keep this in mind. And if you have to deal a situation like this was some years ago, don't allow it to happen. I don't remember who was the guy who said this, that you're obeying because you want to make it end, but it's not going to be it's not going to end because you're obeying. I hope I told the good way. So sometimes not just a citizen, sometimes a soldier has to think and use his brain. Like I used to say, wars are won not by idiots. And after 1945, I'm acted because it was an order. I just followed an order. That's not an excuse since 1945. Learn from our situation, and if you have the opportunity in your environment to do something against it, do it. Because if you don't do nothing, it will repeat itself, the whole situation. Thank you very much.
You see, after 1945, after Second World War, we had Nuremberg trials. Now we don't. That's the difference. We should have Nuremberg trials for those people sooner than later. But I was watching chat, and Han says, if every guy could be like Zoltán, the world would be the better place. Canbrilla, wise and conscious people will arise, and they will be followed by multitudes of awakened. This is what I wish myself and all of us. Greetings. That's right. We're awakening, and there is no stop for it. They globalists don't have tools to do that. And as many of us will awaken soon, thousands, millions all over the world already are awakened. So, Zoltán, thank you so much for sharing your story. I hope your struggle ends in success, and you're gonna be happy men, happy soldiers, perhaps maybe in the future. And your story is a really good example, and will inspire others to stand up against that freaking injustice. That injustice which happened 5 years ago. Actually, you see, today is 19, so we have anniversary. 5 years ago, everything started, people. That 2020 March, yeah. So I forgot about. You see, I forgot about that. I made so many videos against that.
I will drink
situation.
something because of that.
yeah, we'll drink. So thank you for your appearance here on my channel, and thank you all of you for watching, and see you next time.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye. Good night.